Mm. Hello, 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 my friends. Greg, you're still there. I see you moving around.
I'm still here.
We had a little bit of connection, little snafu right before, but anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm Nicholas W. Furl. I'm the host of Person Behind the Pages, and I'm joined today by Gregory Kontaxis.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing? Good to see you, Gregory.
Good to see you too. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Bert's here. Hi, Bert. Thanks for joining us. Good to have you around. So,
Hello.
Gregory, we have so much to talk about. We were talking just a little bit before we got started. The first thing that we have to address is that you don't even write your books in English, and yet, a bunch of English
Yeah,
speakers are reading them, and that they're well regarded. And you don't even write them in the native language. That's amazing. I love it.
that's true.
Bo's a fan. Gregory. Uh,
Hey, Bo.
so Gregory, you write in your native Greek, as I understand, which that's
Yep.
pretty cool to me. What is your process like? How do you kind of at what point does it get into English? Tell me everything about your writing process. That's what I want to know first and foremost.
So it's a bit convoluted, actually. So in the beginning, when I started writing, first of all, I had no idea that I would publish. I started writing The Return of the Knights for fun. In my mind, it wasn't even a book in the beginning. It was like a scene. I had a scene in my mind, and it was more or less a scene about a palace and a queen that needs help. So I started writing a chapter, and then I developed it the next 2 months, and I had three books in my mind, and I expanded more and more. I kept notes, and then I stopped. Actually, I stopped writing for a bit, and I did a lot of research, like for medieval castles and stuff, and to make it realistic. And after all this research, I kept writing in Greek. And at some point, when I had the first draft, I gave it to some friends of mine, and they said, "Oh, this is cool. So maybe you can try to publish it or something." However, in Greece, publishing industry is really small, and most of the books are in romance genre. There is almost nothing in. I mean, there are books in fantasy that are from English authors and other authors in general, foreigners, but nothing really from Greeks.
Sorry. You said most of the books are was it romance genre? Is that what you're saying?
So most of the Greeks
Yeah,
write
yeah.
romance,
I see.
or there are some in crime as well,
Sure.
but
Sure.
not that. I think it's not that. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I think that it's
Uh,
probably the fantasy is not as popular because you got all the history around, and if you want, you got you can
mm,
just go and look around and be like, I feel like I can live it if I want to.
yeah, that's one thing. I mean, the other thing is people don't read that much, and the people who read romance. So that's why they publish this kind of books. Makes sense. If nobody buys
Sure, sure.
fantasy, they will publish romance. It makes sense. I mean, people buy, really famous fantasy books like Lord of the Rings or The Song of Ice and Fire, maybe Sanderson. I think the books of Joe Abercrombie are translated in Greek as well, but
Okay.
many other ones, for example, for Mark Lawrence, only
Hmm.
two of his books are translated in Greek. They are not even translated so far, and he's a very big author.
Right.
So yeah, there's so much. So many people told me, even if it's the best book ever written, there is no big audience.
Sure.
And then I thought, maybe I can translate it. That was the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is how it started, more or less.
So you do all of your writing, all of your editing, the whole thing, all of it in Greek. And in fact, I think you've already said that book 2, The Fall of the Giants is already available in Greek. Is that right?
Yes. It was published in December, so
Wow.
3 months ago, 2 months and a half.
So pro tip, guys, if you want, a leg up on reading Gregory's series, just learn Greek and then you can go.
Yeah. The easy way.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But actually, funnily enough, the novella was available in English earlier.
Oh, really? Oh,
Hello. Yeah.
that's
Yes,
cool.
because it
That's
was smaller, so I translated it really fast, and I want to publish it in Greece together with a second book, so I
okay.
had
Okay.
some delay for that, and I published it earlier in English. So yeah.
That's cool. That's really neat. So you've got the novellas out, you've got the first book out, and then for the English translation, the second book is coming soon. You
Yes.
you work with a you don't do the translation to English yourself. You work with a translator who's an Australian woman. Is that right?
Yes. So for the first book, actually, it didn't start like that.
Okay.
Now it's like this, which is amazing. For the first book, actually, so they found me. I didn't find them actually. There was a Greek publisher
Hmm.
that wanted to expand in UK, and they approached me and they asked to do the translation and everything, but the cooperation with them wasn't great and the
Hmm.
translation wasn't that good because I didn't want to do it myself, but I can understand if it's good or not.
Sure.
So I thought that it's not good at all. So I canceled my contract with them. It wasn't best experience. And then I found this lady that she's Australian, but she speaks Greek as well.
Hmm.
She's a native speaker, and she did the translation for me, and I check. But before that, I have a Greek editing, of course.
Hmm.
And then after the translation, I have an English editing as well and a proofreading. So the Greek and the English versions have differences, I could
Sure.
say,
Sure.
in some
Wow.
stuff.
So yeah, the English version of the story has been edited twice in two different languages, like in proofread.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it's polished. So that's awesome. When did you start reading, or sorry, writing the Return of the Knights? It must have been a while. You've gone through a process, you know.
Yes, it was 2016.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like 8 years ago because I dropped it for some time. Then I continued again. I gather information all the time, and then it's funny in a sense. So when I publish it in Greek,
Hmm.
then I got the translation that I didn't like. I canceled my contract. I had a second translation which was very good, and then I thought to contact some people in the writing community, and the
Hmm.
first person I emailed, which is crazy, was Mark Lawrence because I was a fan, and I was like, I wrote a book, and maybe you want to have a look, and I was like, okay, he will never reply, but
And
worth
he
a
did.
shot,
Yeah.
and he did,
That's awesome.
and he was like, the world building is good. Many things are good, but the style of the writing, this style is a bit. I mean, maybe some English author used to use it some years ago, but now it doesn't fly that well. Because in Greek we write a lot in the God narrator style. So you are the narrator who knows everything, and you head hop to heads of the characters, and you can be in one chapter in 10 different people's heads. So he told me, no, you will have like one chapter per character. You will do it like third pop limited is better. So I did that directly in English myself. So I changed many things
Oh
after the
wow.
editing, and then I had another editing. But that was the first book. I wasn't that familiar. It was the first thing I ever wrote. Now with the novella in the second book, it wasn't like that. So I read
Yeah.
directly in English in the style that I translated it, and I had a good translator. I had the editor, so it was way simpler. The first book was, yeah, it was hard. It was a hard process.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's kudos to you for being open to that feedback too. Like to be honest, when I wrote my first book, like, if I got feedback like that, I'd be like, no. No, I'm done. I'm done.
I thought about it. I was like, I can try in English and change it. Change some. It wasn't all the chapters that I had like three pops going to their head. So I changed it in the chapters that was too much, and then some others were ready more or less. So yeah, it took time. So I spent like months, 7, 8 months to do that, and then I did another editing on top. So yeah, it took a lot of time. But of course, some people would say, okay, let's write something else.
Sure.
But
Yeah, right, right. Uh Karim saying in Egypt we have Egyptian English. So like he also said, I guess I know the problem, right? And I'm wondering, I'm wanting to go read the book and see if your Australian translator added some Australian things like maybe the word mate for friend or something. That's very Australian, you know.
Hmm. I
Interesting.
don't think I've seen that. Maybe I'm wrong, but
No, no,
yeah.
no. I don't know. I don't know what they put in. Yeah, but I mean, I find it interesting. Even like I've read books from Rob J. Hayes, and he lives in the UK. And there's like some little words that he uses that are very common in the UK that are not so
Hmm.
common in the US, and not enough to like kind
Yes.
of break like a suspension of disbelief or pull me out of the book or anything like that. But enough for me to be like, oh yeah, he's not my neighbor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I see. Even me, I identify some words that people use a lot in the UK, but if you go to the
Mhm.
US, nobody uses them.
Right.
Like fabulous, marvelous, and stuff. And you go to the US, and people say, "Oh, this is awesome," or "sick,"
That's
or "cool." I don't know, but
right.
nobody would
Right.
say marvelous.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah. Um, all right. So, The Return of the Knights is out, of course. That's book one in this series. Tell me a little bit about this book. I know that it's a, epic medieval fantasy, kind of the sword and sorcery classic style, but also with some Greek mythology mixed in.
Yes, so the system of the gods is very ancient. It follows the ancient Greek style. So that in the ancient Greek styles, we had, every god has a power, or it's like, the goddess of wisdom or the god of the sea. So something similar. And also, I used many creatures that they come from Greek mythology, like centaurs, mermaids. Another thing is the whole concept that there is a grandmaster that trains soldiers or warriors. So this comes more or less from the legend of Hercules, that the centaur was his master. So there are many things that I follow on that, I would say, and there are some stuff that they are mine as well. So I didn't find them in the mythology, so I came up with those. But the culture and the whole world is based on a medieval, I would say, English slash French um, world.
Hmm.
And I have other cities outside of this continent that they are more similar to the Middle East, I would say, in the medieval time. But I follow many Greek ideas in the mythology side, I would say, and in some patterns such as the one that I described with the master and the teacher. So this is very, even when we do, because in school we study Homer, so this is a very common thing from Achilles, from Hercules, all these heroes that they had like a great master and then they become even greater and stuff like this.
That sounds
Yeah.
awesome. Uh, Briefly, JCM Burn Joe says, "Nice crowd." I can agree more. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks for being here. Good to see you again, Joe. Haven't seen you in chat for a little bit. Uh, and going back to talking about, the English and the style, Abel says it's worse when you read okay in an epic fantasy book. I get you. I get you. Right? Kind of the little modern, like, colloquial. At least they're not like, I don't want to read an epic fantasy book and hear about, like, the main character's Riz. Don't tell me that. uh, um, so this is sounding epic though, Gregory. I like the sound of it, love the idea of kind of pulling from the mythology and whatnot. Tell me, just like, give me some clues as to the plot. It sounds like we've got a main character who's gonna have to do some training. Sure, he's gonna must be training for something, right?
Yes, yes. So actually, the beginning of the book, many people say that it's a bit confusing in a sense that many things happen at the same time and there are many characters. So it opens like with a huge cast and it opens actually with a battle.
Okay.
So it becomes a little bit confusing in the beginning. After a point, things flow better because you realize which characters you will follow, at least in this book. So actually, it starts in a kingdom where there is a queen that she fights for the last like 17 years with her cousin, actually, who tries to get the throne. And the story starts like before this person, Walter, goes to siege the palace, the royal capital.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a battle in like a small city next to the royal capital that Walter wants to take before he attacks to the queen. And they lose this fight. So that this is okay. This is a little bit of spoiler, but okay. So so it opens like this, and the queen is helpless. So they're all about to die in the royal capital, and then suddenly a boy appears. He says that he was trained by a grandmaster, and all the grandmasters have died for some years. Actually, Walter killed them all, and nobody knows who is that grandmaster. And he says, I have a plan, and if you follow me, if you listen to me, we might make it. So nobody believes him in the beginning. It's like, imagine a kingdom that, hello,
Yeah. No, I'm
I
very good.
lost my
You.
connection for 1 sec.
Oh
Okay,
no, you.
so
I've heard everything, so you've been just fine.
okay, great. So, and then just everybody in the beginning is like, okay, who is this boy who will not listen, a 17-year-old boy and stuff. And so some events happen, because I don't want to give more spoilers. Some events happen in the palace, and they think to give him a sword, because what he asks is nothing. He just asks for 3 men, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So and then the story actually starts become it becomes more adventurous, because they leave the palace and they have to achieve something. They try to build an alliance with another city that might help the queen. And there are many things that they need to do. I mean, they change their path at some point. They want to follow a specific road, and they have to change because something happened. And yeah, this is more or less a summary, a big summary of the plot. But many things going on. I have like many paths in the book.
Nice, nice, nice. Bo says the book goes from 0 to 100 miles per hour in like 3 pages. Sounds like a
Yeah,
good
that's
time.
true.
Sounds
It's
like
a
a good
bit
time.
overwhelming in the beginning. So,
No, it
and
sounds fun though.
actually, so the Greek edition
Uh huh.
starts with the battle directly. The
Uh huh.
English edition has a small chapter before the battle that I added after. So,
Oh, interesting, interesting.
yeah.
Do you have a prologue too?
No, I don't have a prologue. I just
All right, Joe, the
start.
prologue skippers don't have to worry. No.
Yeah.
um, epic. No, that sounds super cool. I love also the covers for both like the Return of the Knights and the Fall of the Giants. You were showing me too, like some super special edition. I want to see that again.
Yes, so it's here. So this has sprayed edges as well.
How
Yeah,
pretty
I
are these
made
things?
that for giveaways actually. There's no place that somebody can buy this. I have like, yeah, as I told you, I have like 3 left. I think I
That's
will
cool.
definitely have a giveaway when the book 2 comes out. So it will be book 1 with sprayed edges and book 2 with sprayed edges as well for somebody. So yeah, I think this will be fun.
That's gorgeous. Yeah, that's so cool. I love that you did that too. That like such a special edition, and you're just giving away. You said that you had someone in because so originally you're Greek, and we'll get into this in a second. But now you live in UK in London, so you found someone in the UK
Yes.
that does the sprayed edges, and you just had like 10 of them like custom made, and you've been doing
Yes.
giveaways with them. That's so
Yes,
cool.
exactly.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I would do more, but it's pretty expensive to do it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, I get you.
yeah,
Yeah,
I had
it's
like a really small number
awesome that
done.
you're doing giveaways for something that's yeah not that cheap, and that's awesome. Um, let's talk just like a little bit about when first you just had a buddy read for the Return of the Knights with the Library of the Viking on his Patreon, right? There was a like people reading there.
Yes.
How did that go? I know that you said like you were kind of not trying to engage too much because you don't want to influence the conversation. You don't want people to be afraid to hurt your feelings, but like, you know,
Yes.
but still you were secretly lurking, weren't you? Oh no. Uh-oh. Had a little bit of trouble with Gregory with his connection right before we
Wait
went
in any of
live.
the chats.
Ah.
Sorry?
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're no,
Yeah.
sorry. I lost connection for a moment. So I was saying that yeah, you did the buddy
Okay.
read.
Oh, I heard you.
Um
I heard everything.
Okay, so I missed your response.
So
So go ahead,
yeah,
please.
yeah, I will say it again. No worries. So more or less, I didn't engage at all because I didn't want to be in the chats and people, try to not say what they think. You know, Sometimes people don't want to hear your feelings and stuff. So I was outside of the pattern. But then when they finished, most of them, I joined and I had some conversations about stuff. So they asked me how I do the translation, questions that you asked as well, how the process works, if I have all the 5 books in my mind. It was really nice actually, and most of them
Nice,
liked it.
nice.
Johan liked it as well. I think he told me he read many books that classic epic fantasy that are similar, but I think he will continue because he liked the conclusion. Yeah, and he also read the novella, and he liked the novella as well. He liked actually. He told me he liked the novella more than the first book because I think he liked the ending and the setup in the beginning. I mean, the novella is more. It goes more in the grim dark side, um,
Mm, I see, I
especially the
see.
ending. Um, so it's something different. But as we discussed before we go live, when I wrote the first book, even if I didn't know that I will publish it, I want to start a little bit more classic. I don't want to go with many things that many surprises. And then when I continue in book 2 and the novella, I expand a little more with some stuff that are not that classic. But yeah.
Interesting, exciting. Um, Abel says, as a European, it's encouraging to see one of us succeed in bringing his novel to international audience. I'm an American, but I'm so happy to see that and see kind of just more diverse voices, right? And a more diverse perspective. I love that you're including the Greek mythology, but you're also Greek, so you speak to it from like a different place than an American would, I think. That's just super cool, and I'm glad that I'm able to help shine just a little bit of a light more on you too. That's very nice.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so that sounds exciting. That second book, like, just can you give me just the tiniest hint of what sort of is different? In what ways is it different from like kind of
Mm.
classic fantasy of the first book? Would you say it's more grim dark, or are you like kind
Uh,
of? I know, I don't want to give too many like spoilers.
yes. So definitely. So it's more grim,
Okay.
especially during the
During
second
certain
half.
parts. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
so
during certain parts, and the second half, I would say it's a bit more grim. But
Mhm.
also, there are some parts that I would say they're very, in a sense, romantic.
Okay, great.
So, and not really about a relationship, because I have other races, and one of the main ideas I had is that we see in many books like Lord of the Rings or the Song of Ice and Fire
Mhm.
that humans need to set aside their differences and unite them to fight something. I mean, orcs or white walkers or whatever. So in my story, I try to have other races that they are superior to humans in the sense that they are better, and humans is actually the problem. They start the wars, they have a lot of looting, raping, all the things we have seen in history, and that these other races try to inspire humans to be better. So this is one thing. um I think it's a bit different. So
Yeah, I like it.
yeah,
I
that's
like it.
that's one idea. Also, I think the writing style is very different in the second book, so I learned too many things from the first book, so I tried to write it different. And the characters, because in the first book most of the characters, the important characters are together, but in the second book they are separate, so everybody has his own journey. And actually I really enjoyed that because like this, I had the opportunity to expand more to their characters, give more depth to everybody.
Mhm.
But yeah, some parts I would say are a bit grim, and I didn't have that in. So in the first book, there are some some grim in a sense parts as well, but the ending is I would say a bit not classic, but you know, I won't say more because I
Okay,
will
yeah.
spoil many things. So I won't say more, but yeah, definitely the second book is a bit more grim.
That all right. Very exciting, very interesting. I like that. You're giving me just enough. That's perfect. I love it. That's interesting too that you said there's some romance. Pretty hot right now. Are you kind of familiar with like this sort of genre or subgenre that's on the rise called romantasy? Have you heard this before?
Yes, I wouldn't say that my books fall to that.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe there is some romance in some parts, and in the novella maybe there is some romance. I think maybe in the novella there is more than actually in my books, in the main series.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't say that the series fall to that. There is no that much. It's not like the
No.
main element. It's not
Oh,
that
okay. Okay.
strong.
No big spicy scenes, huh? No. All
Yeah,
right.
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people would say, "Oh, it falls there." This is what I think.
Have you like? I mean, you could do worse. Have you seen like just how well that book Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros is doing? Is it still the top of New York Times? It's been the top of New York Times bestseller list for like a
Mhm.
year.
I'm not really familiar with that. Actually, the last months I haven't read much.
Ooh.
I wasn't that active in social media. I was writing actually. So I checked the translation of the second book and the editing. I'm writing the third book in Greek.
Oh wow, wow.
I work and I was finishing my PhD as well. So it was like a pretty
Good
hectic
lord.
time. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know you were like. I mean, a PhD also. What is your PhD in, my dude?
In investment risk, completely different. So,
I see. All right, all right. How does
so yeah, it's completely.
how does being an indie author rank in investment risk?
So it's completely different. Two completely different things.
I mean, maybe not the best investment all the time, but we love it,
Y-
right?
yes, yes. It's not something that you do to make money or anything. It's you do it because you. Yes, true.
Yeah,
It's something you do because you love it. Yeah. So the
yeah.
PhD, I started it at some point that I want to do some research. Then I regretted it because I didn't have any time.
Mm,
But I finished it. So now pretty much it's finished. So you have to defend your thesis. I did
yeah.
that, and
Oh
I
yeah.
wait for the final verdict. So I think I will know until mid-March. So
So
that's it.
book three on the cover, it's gonna say Doctor Gregory Kontaxis, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations, dude. You're like almost there.
Thank
Good
you.
job. Um,
Thank you.
so we've talked a bit about you've written in Greek. Greek is your first language. You're from Greece. Now you live in the UK, like in London. What brought
Yeah.
you to London? How long have you been there?
So I'm here now for almost 7 years. And before that, I lived for 3 years in Vienna, in Austria.
Oh, okay.
And before that, I lived in London for one more year. So practically, I did my bachelor in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
I came to the UK to do a master's.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Vienna for work for 3 years. And
You
then I came back to London.
you did your master's in 1 year in a foreign country,
Yes.
in a foreign language too.
Yes. Many people do that. It's
It's many people do easy. Sure, yeah, right.
so actually in my masters in here in the UK, I think nobody was British.
Oh,
It was
really? Oh,
people,
interesting.
yeah, it was people from India, China, and other Europeans like from Germany, France. But yeah, I don't recall we had any British in this master. I guess they don't like mathematical finance.
That is amazing. So, okay, so you went to London for your master's, and you went to Vienna for work for a while, and then you back to London. Was it work that brought you back to London for the second time?
Yes, I found another job, and I did. So Vienna is nice, but it's kind of quiet place. So if you are young and you want to go out and stuff, it's not the best. Uh, so yeah, London was better in this sense, and I had many friends here because I studied here, so I knew some people in Vienna. I didn't know anybody, and I was actually the youngest in the company. I started work, so I was like 24 when I started, and all the other people were in the middle 30s. They had kids and stuff, so I had nobody to go out. I had not many friends there, so I decided to come back to
I hate like listen, I am a mid to late 30s parent with young kids, and it's such a pain that like it is such a big dividing line of like having kids versus not. Because like I mean I have some friends that don't have kids.
London.
One friend in particular, he's in my writing group. I love hanging out with him, but like what he loves to kind of do sort of the young man thing, even though he's my age, of like go out and like and drink at night. And I'm like, that's cool. I can't do that with you, you know?
Yeah, I understand. Actually, some of my friends have kids. Now that I am in my mid 30s,
Yeah,
it's easy. But when you are like 24,
yeah,
you want to go more out and drink and stuff.
right.
But yeah,
Now that you're Dr. Gregory Kontaxis, like, yeah, you like chill. Sure. I get it. I get it. That's amazing, dude. Like that well done. Damn. That's pretty incredible. All the traveling, all the school, working in finance, impressive stuff, dude. So have you like do you go back to Greece, and I assume that you have family there? You see Greece every once in a while?
yes, everybody's there. No, actually, I used to go like 2, 3 times per year. Now I go a bit. So the last 2 years I go more because after COVID. So during COVID, many people want to get married and everything, but nobody could. So after
Mm,
COVID, everybody that wanted to get married is doing it. So
mm.
I have like all my friends are getting married. So I go for the weddings like all the time. I have to go to Greece like 6, 7 times
For weddings.
per year for weddings. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not that far. It's like 3 hours, so it's okay. It's not that bad, and
Cuz
I can
yeah.
work sometimes from abroad, so I can work remotely. So it's not that bad.
Nice. I was
Yeah,
wondering, yeah, how you travel. 'Cause, yeah, but 3 hours that must be by plane, but like I
yeah,
think that you could do it by train if you really wanted to, right?
that would be a nightmare.
That would be a nightmare. Okay, okay.
So maybe you can take the train and go to Paris or Amsterdam and
Sure.
then drive, but that would take maybe a week or something. I don't know.
Really? Wow, okay. See, yeah,
Yeah.
my like I've been to Istanbul and that was super cool. Um
Okay.
yeah, but I haven't I would love to go spend time in Europe, especially for me like
Yeah.
Italy and in Rome, like that would be amazing. Yeah.
Rome is nice. Funnily enough, I never been to Istanbul. I really want to go. It's really close to Athens. I'm from Athens. I never been there. Maybe in this year, next. I don't know.
You've
Maybe I
never
will
been to
try.
really? That's it. So, huh. Yeah, I mean, because obviously that's in Greece, that's in your home country. I would go to Athens, but like I get it. What about like, uh, what historical sites in Greece have you visited, and what kind of stands out as really like if I go to Greece, where should I go? Be my tour
Hmm,
guide, Doctor Contaxis.
that's that's a good question. So
Yes, 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 yes,
so thank you.
yes.
So actually, you could go in Athens. Okay, definitely you go to see Acropolis.
Uh-huh.
And then the Temple of Poseidon in Sunio. This is actually pretty nice.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
hi, Johan.
Thanks for dropping in,
um,
man.
so yeah, and yeah, those are the most common in Athens. So Acropolis and Sunio. To
Hmm.
go to Sunio, if you're in Athens, you drive like 40 minutes, but it's
Hmm.
it's so nice because you drive near to the sea and the view and everything is good. And you can see the Temple of Poseidon, which is really nice because it's just
Oh
in
wow,
in a cliff next to the sea.
that's so cool.
And then there are some islands you can visit too, like for example in Rhodes, there are many things you can see. Um, But yes, if you go to Athens, you start from there, definitely.
Taking notes, taking notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, like I said, I've been to Istanbul, but I haven't been to many other places, so I can't, like, I don't have a lot of comparison. But to me, Istanbul was fantastic, so I definitely recommend it. One thing I was able to do was go into the Hagia Sophia, and I think it's still open. I think they actually, at the
Mm.
time I went just a few years ago, it was like a museum, but now they converted it back to a mosque. But as far as I know, it's still open to the public,
Yes, yes. I never been there, but I have heard that. The food will be similar for sure. I
right?
think the cities will be kind of different, but the food is very similar.
I had a
Yeah,
kokoreç while I was there. Have you had kokoreç before?
yeah. I don't really like that. We know from what it is made.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Yeah, yes. But I'll be like, I'll try anything. It's like with the intestine, right? Like just the like intest.
Yes,
Yes, right.
yes, exactly. In most European countries, this is illegal to eat, but in Greece and Turkey, you can.
That doesn't surprise me. It was like
Yeah,
it
my
was all.
parents eat that. I hate. I don't like it. So
One thing I love was the medye. Do you have that in Greece too?
metje.
Yeah, it's a mussel with like spiced rice in it.
I don't know that. Maybe we call it a different name,
Maybe, yeah.
but I
I
I
hadn't seen it before, but like, let me tell you, and all you like, if you're listening, and especially if you're American and you're thinking about going, bro, like the dollar goes so far in Turkey. It was amazing. So you could get medya, get these mussels with some rice, and you could make like a meal out of it for like $3. It was fantastic.
Yeah, the last, I don't know when you went there, but the last years their currency collapsed a
No, really.
bit. So that's why everything is cheaper.
I think it
They had
was.
big problems with inflation, so they printed a lot of money, and that's why the currency went down.
I think it was
It's one of the
2019
stuff.
that I went. Was that?
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there was an issue. Yeah.
Okay.
We study
Yeah.
this case in finance, which is
I
my
see.
job. So
Yeah. That it was. I want to get out, but one more thing about Istanbul. Like, I went to the Hagia Sophia, and again, American, and our whole country is like 200 something years old. We're a baby, right? And
Mhm.
there's sometimes there's older stuff around, but not much. Went to Hagia Sophia, quite old, and there's rings of marble in the ground, and like
Mm,
in the middle of these rings of marble was where the coronation of the Holy Roman Empire, like the not the Byzantine, excuse me, Byzantine Empire.
yep.
The emperor was coronated right there, and I was like, that is so cool. That is so amazing to be like right next to this like landmark. But yeah, I mean, it's just I thought it was neat. Have you ever had an experience like that where you like sort of are around like a historical area and you're like, I mean, maybe that Temple of Poseidon you were mentioning, is it kind of just make you go, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, when I was younger, actually, also Meteora is really cool in Greece, but this is not based on the ancient gods or anything. It's some places from the. It's a place that there are churches and stuff, but they're like built in a cliff,
Hmm. Hmm.
and it's really a unique thing to see.
Yeah.
At some point, I can send you a link. Maybe you want to visit there. It's
Yes.
really nice.
Yes. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Actually, I'm wondering, in Turkey, did anybody speak English?
So, hmm. Yes.
I think it would be hard to communicate.
So like I was very very fortunate in that my wife, her college roommate at University of South Florida in Tampa is from Turkey. And so her college roommate like
Okay.
literally she grew up like she'd spend like half the year in Turkey and then half the year with her grandparents in Orlando, Florida.
Hmm.
So when we went, like we actually stayed with her and her parents, and she was our tour guide through everything. So that was, it added so much for that experience. I'm sure, like, had if I didn't have that, I could, certainly find my way and do some kind of more like mainstream tours, that sort of thing. But yeah, having the like someone that was local and could speak the language and everything be our tour guide was, if you have that option while traveling, take it,
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, there were some people that were speaking like English, especially in the more like touristy places like the Hagia Sophia. If it is a
Okay, there makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
right, right. It is of course a very big city, and so if you're kind of far off the beaten path from the main touristy places, then yeah, it might be kind of harder to kind of communicate. Um, but no, it was yeah, it felt very welcoming too, and yeah, so the touristy places and some of the kind of more expensive restaurants that were clearly catering to
Mm.
tourists, those would have English speakers as well. Um, a lot of the menus had English too, as I recall. So
Yeah, in the touristic place makes sense, but
yeah,
in general, it would be
yeah,
maybe a bit of a problem. Yeah, in Greece, it might be the same. I mean, younger people speak English, but older people not that much.
sure, sure, yeah, makes sense. It's crazy how English has become this like de facto standard across the world, and
Yeah.
but um okay, so man, lived in Vienna, lived in London, back in London, visiting Greece all the time. Sounds pretty good. Sounds not so
Yeah,
bad.
that's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not bad.
How do you well, um I was gonna say the weather, but we don't need to talk about the weather. That's not that interesting. Um we talked a bit of history. I like your mythology in the book. Oh, I love this is so random, but I gotta mention this. You made this tweet just recently where you like had a picture and you're like, I just killed a character.
That was
uh,
totally random. So
right.
actually, I'm writing the ending of book 3.
Hmm.
And I was writing like in the
Okay.
morning, and my girlfriend was walking in the living room and she was like, "You look guilty now." And she took a picture of me.
Guilt. That's funny.
And I just uploaded it and it went nuts. It had like, I don't know, 70,000 views or something. I just uploaded for fun. Um, yeah,
Wow.
and I was like, sometimes when you kill a character, you might be a bit sad. So, but I cannot talk about that. I mean,
Yeah.
the
No.
second book is not even out, so
Yes.
I
Yes.
cannot talk about book 3.
No. 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 But, 70,000 views. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's pretty.
So
That's.
yeah, it was fun. So and it came like literally after the cover reveal of book 2.
Uh huh.
So I had like 2 posts with a lot
Yeah.
of attention.
That cover for that second book is so cool. I love the dragon, I love the scale of it too. Like that dragon looks immense on the cover book too.
So actually, a secret is that it's not a dragon; it's a wyvern.
Excuse me.
I mean,
Oh.
it's close. It's a kind of a dragon, but still.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, I liked a lot. So I was thinking what to have in the second cover. So there is a scene in the book that I love. So I
Hmm.
got this scene and I made the cover.
Nice.
So yeah, I think most people like it. And
Yeah.
actually, yesterday I found out that Daniel Green in his latest video he showcased my cover. I was really excited. I was like, oh my god, what just happened?
B-
Um,
Big time now, dude. Nice, nice.
yeah, that was crazy. So yes, and I hope people will like the story too. I
Yeah.
can't wait to hear reviews and everything about it. So yeah, that will be fun. I plan to send some advance copies in the end of March, and then May 10 is the release.
Nice, nice.
And now
That's
I'm working
exciting.
out the audiobook to find out when this will be released. So I think a bit after the initial release of the physical and ebooks, I think during the summer I will have an audiobook as well.
That's exciting, man. So this is a trilogy, right? So and you're writing the third
No,
books. No,
it's a
okay.
it's a pentalogy.
Okay. All right. All right.
So
So we
5 books.
right. We got more coming. We got more coming. All
Yeah,
right.
it's 5, and I think I will have at least one more prequel, like the novella I had. Maybe a little bit, not that big as the books of the series. Maybe a little bigger than the novella.
That's exciting. That so That's kind of funny though, because we talked about how, like, with book one, you were like, well, I'm gonna do things kind of like classic and kind of, but like right out of the gate, when you're writing, you're like, well, I'm gonna do a series of five. Well, you didn't want to make it any easier with a shorter series, huh?
Yeah, actually, I thought to make it 3 books, but they would be very big. And I think that if they are that big,
Yeah.
I don't know myself. Some authors are really good to have huge books, to write huge books.
Hmm.
Myself, I prefer to not go that big, at least for now. I don't know what will happen in the next ones. Yeah, I prefer to go like, I don't know. Not more, definitely not more than 200,000 words. I go around 150K, 160 maybe. I don't want to have a book like 300K words. I think it becomes too big, and people are like, okay, I will need like ages to finish this.
Yeah.
I don't know in the future, maybe. Um, but I like to split in five. So the main events that I had in my mind could split to five,
Hmm. Hmm.
so that was okay. Not that I have all the story in my mind. I have like some really main events, and then all the rest of the stuff I build it when I write.
Hmm.
So like 80% comes while writing, and I have some really main events in my mind, like a skeleton, a summary for every book.
Do you have? Well, first of all, Bo, 5 books while getting a peach just seems like a walk in the park. Yeah. Why don't you? Yeah, make them way longer. Easy, easy. No, no, that's funny. Uh, you said that kind of the main events are in your mind. Do you have it written down in an outline at all, or is it all just in your mind?
Oh no, I have like a huge Word file with notes. So I
Okay.
have all the main events there for all the 5 books. But even the main events changed at some point. So when I write the actual, so if I have some main events for book 5 or book 4 or book 3, when
Yeah.
I actually wrote book 3, some things change, some things remain the same. So it's not forgiven that I will keep all of this. I just have some ideas, I write them down, and then yeah, depends how the story will go. You never really know.
Yeah.
Some people have everything planned before. I know some people who do that. I cannot do it. Most of it comes while writing, and I think that my best ideas came while I was writing.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, there's a work that I worked on that I have a draft of, but like I felt like I over planned it because I did know like pretty much what
Mm.
every chapter was gonna happen, and it made some of the writing boring to do, you know? I think it's a lot more fun when you leave yourself room. Like I would never want to write without like having a clear idea of where things are going and like some idea of how we're getting there. But like I need to give myself some room too, We gotta be able to like play with things.
Yes, yes, that's true. Actually, this is what I liked a lot in the novella.
Yeah.
Because in the novella, I started writing something, I had no idea where it will end up, and
That's
it
fun.
ended up as it went. But with the books of the series, in the first book you can improvise a bit, but when you're in book 3, then you're like, okay, I need to write something that fits the other 2 books, not
Right.
something completely relevant. So you need to be a little bit more focused, to not forget details and stuff that you already said.
Right.
So you lose some freedom. Of course, you can create more characters and expand more and everything all the time, but you
Yeah.
have to keep in your mind the things you have written in the earlier books. With the novella, it was so free. I just started something, and I was like, okay, whatever comes in my mind, we will see.
Boga did long arm dirty in the novella. Oh man.
He's
And
right.
also he said earlier that you unleashed your inner monster in the novella.
So actually, what happens is that in the first book of the series, The Return of the Knights, one of the main characters is John, the Long Arm. This is like a nickname.
Hmm.
They call him like that because he was a bounty hunter and he used to catch people, so they call him Long Arm.
Hmm.
And this person in the main series, he's like around 50 years old. He's very cynical. He's pessimistic and everything. So the novella is a backstory of him.
Hmm.
It focuses on him mostly, and
Hmm.
actually it tries to shows how he became like that. So it's 17 years before the events of the first book, And yeah, it tries to show how he became like this and what happened in his life.
Nice.
So yeah, I know why Boyle says what he says. So actually, when he read the end of the novella, he sent me a message. It was so funny. I waked up and I saw like, "You bastard!" No, it was like it was it was like, "You son of the bitch, you monster."
Nice. You know, like I would feel so happy getting that message because I'd be like, you know what? I made an emotional impact, and that's what I'm
Yes,
going for. You know? Yes,
exactly. It was good.
that's
It was
awesome.
good and funny at the same time.
Right. So, Bo, if you ever want to call me a son of a bitch, it's fine. Is Gregory, is the novella available for free, or is that on Amazon or?
Yeah, the ebook is available for free. So if
Nice.
somebody registers in my website, in my mailing list, gets it for free. And the physical one is in Amazon and Barnes and Noble and many other bookstores. So there is a hardback and a paperback. I have
Perfect.
one here actually. Yeah, so
Oh,
it's this.
the Night of the
Um,
Moon.
yeah, Night
Wait,
of
hold
the
that up
Moon.
again. I haven't
Yeah,
taken a close look at that cover. I like that. Man, your covers are
yeah.
hot, dude. Who does your covers?
Me Blart.
Me Blart? You have
Yes, I think they work with many authors.
yeah.
They ask you actually to give them a concept, how you
Mm-hmm.
imagine it, and I think that helps them a lot. So always
Yeah.
I give them a concept, and I find some covers not
Mm-hmm.
the same, like similar in a sense
Yeah.
to the idea I have, and then every time they send me something which is amazing, like
Yeah.
way better than the one I sent them or had in my mind, and I'm like, oh wow.
Isn't that the
And
best?
also
Yeah.
for they're very good. They're very good, and no complaints working with them in timelines and everything.
Mm-hmm.
They will send me now in like a week, I think, also an animated cover for book 2. I have one for book
Oh,
1, so I will get one for book 2 as well. And book 2
nice.
has also an illustration for the interior from Omer.
Nice.
So it's a battle of the book. So I made this black and white illustration, which I think is really really nice. Um,
Nice.
so yeah, excited to for this release. Really excited.
Nice. The same cover designer did Kareem's and Zamil's. Nice, nice. You don't have the writer's name?
Yeah, they're good. They're good actually.
What if anyone wants to go get your novella, what's your website?
GregoryKontaxis.com. Easy. My name.
Easy. There we go.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. All right. Um yep. It's MIBL Art is the artist name, right?
Yeah, it's MIBL Art.
Okay. All right. There you go, Stuart.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So this was fantastic. I really enjoyed talking with you, Gregory. Thanks for joining me.
Same here. It was my first interview ever, so it was fun.
You mentioned that just the other day. Like, Gregory, thank you for making me your first interview. I am humbled and honored. I appreciate it. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you for inviting me. It
Absolutely.
was great. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
All right. And we mentioned your website already, but also you're on Twitter, right? Anywhere else people can find and follow you?
Yes. And Instagram and Facebook.
And all those, it's Gregory Kontaxis.
Gregory Kontaxis everywhere. It's the same
There
name,
we go.
same spelling, as you see it in the screen now. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. All right. Well, again, this has been super fun. Thanks for joining me, Gregory. All of you out there listening, watching, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for joining me. And if no one's told you today, you're an absolute legend.
Thank you.